with Mr. Nifong and the investigators?
Yes, we went through the whole, just like we did just now.
Okay, and then if you go to the back page of that, can you explain generally what that is?
Well, these are the conclusions that we can make from that comparison. And these conclusions generally progress as you go through them. Without going through this one, typically in a case it would say that a DNA profile was obtained from a piece of evidence. Then it would say a DNA profile was obtained from such and such suspect, and then the final conclusion might be that the DNA profile that was obtained from the evidence does match the suspect, and often is the case that we would give some statistical weight to that.
Okay. And can you generally explain, the next page is page 7, can you generally explain what that result is for?
Okay, on page 7, we give the results for a comparison of the profiles from a fingernail obtained from the crime scene. This would be a fingernail that was delivered to DNA security, and we extracted the DNA from this fingernail. And we obtained a mixture profile, once again, that being a profile, DNA profile indicative of more than one person. And in comparing that to the reference profiles available, we were able to identify that one reference specimen, a suspect, could not be excluded from the mixture, and again, the victim could not be excluded from the mixture.
Okay. And that person is Kevin Coleman, that could not be excluded from that particular mixture on the fingernail?
That's correct.
And then is the back side of that the statistical analysis or conclusions that were reached with respect to that?
It's a series of conclusion statements based on that comparison.
And then the last one there, the analysis 3, can you generally describe what that is?
Okay. This analysis is the last match that we identified up to that point. It is the analysis of the vaginal swab that was included in the sexual assault kit, and a comparison of that swab results to the victim, and it includes the Y chromosome analysis of that same specimen and a comparison to another reference specimen which it matches.
Okay. And the match for that particular item is for Matthew Murchison?
That's right? Correct.
And do you know who that is?
I think that's the boyfriend.
Okay. And on the back side of that, is that the results or the conclusion section for that particular,
yes,
the third result?
Yes.
And at that May 12th meeting, did you go through each one of these 3 matches in the written report with Mr. Nifong and the investigators?
Yes, I did.
Was the written report that you provided and went through with Mr. Nifong at that meeting consistent with what he had requested you to do?
Yes. He wanted to know, again, for the purposes of a proceeding, he needed to have the information, as he conveyed to us, the information that showed the matches that we had identified to that point of the testing. And that's what this report does, in addition to other things. But that's what's the thrust of this report.
Okay. And did you consider this May 12th report to be a final conclusive report in this case?
No.
And why did you not consider it to be a final conclusive report?
Well, because in discussing this report, it was clear to us that, in fact, Mr. Nifong explained there would be additional specimens coming forward, and so there'd be more work to be done, that this report was for a proceeding leading to the trial, and in fact, we would need a final report at a later date. There was, I don't remember the exact quotes in the conversation, but there was no question that this was not a final report.
And did you, in fact, receive some additional either evidence items or reference specimens after May 12, 2006?
Yes, we did.
And if you'll look at the, you can look at it on yours if you want. I think it's Exhibit 237 that we had up before that talks about, where you summarize what evidence items you've received. Can you show that 237? Do you have page 2?
Okay.
Can you go up to the last page? Okay. And it indicates there on the last page that you received, well, tell me what it indicates
Well,
on the last page.
we received a reference specimen on May 17th, number 15931, and we received another specimen on June 27th, number 16062.
Okay. In Mr. Nifong's initial response to the grievance committee in this matter, which has been admitted into evidence, Mr. Nifong represented that he told you to prepare, and I'm quoting now, a summary report listing the items tested, the test performed, and the results of the test. In other words, a report similar to the SBI standard report. I want to ask you about that representation to the grievance committee. Dr. Meehan, did Mr. Nifong request that you prepare a summary report that would include all evidence items, tests performed, and all results of those tests to date?
No, he never specifically detailed to us what he expected to see in the report, like what you're saying.
Okay. And did Mr. Nifong ask you to prepare a written report containing the same types of information that would be included in the SBI summary report, or any words to that effect?
To my best recollection, he never referenced the SBI report.
And did you have a copy of the SBI report in your file?
Yes.
And did you have that copy of the SBI report in this case by the April 21st meeting when Mr. Nifong asked for the written report?
He didn't ask for the written report on April 21st. We talked about the report, but he didn't ask for it until we called.
Okay. When he first brought up the getting a written report.
Right.
And did you have the SBI report by that time of that meeting?
Yes.
Did Mr. Nifong ask you to prepare a report in any format that included all the results of your tests and examinations conducted to date?
No. The only thing that Mr. Nifong conveyed to us was not specifics about what to be included in the report. And that's not unusual. I mean, it's expected that I should know what's in a report or what needs to be in a report. What he conveyed to us was that, again, he had a proceeding coming up which he would need a report that specifically addressed the matches that were identified to date. It was a proceeding in preparation for the trial. It was not to be considered a final report. And in addition to that, there were more specimens coming down the road.
And is the format of your report that you went through with Mr. Nifong that we were looking at page by page on the May 12th, is that different than the format of the SBI summary report?
Yes, it's very different.
Okay. I want to just take a look and compare those. If you can show Exhibit 209, page 7. This is Exhibit 209, page 7, if you want to look at it in notebooks instead. Do you see that, Dr. Meehan?
Yes.